47, we find Holden feeling pretty lousy. He has a few words with Ackley, and then he's lying down on this other kid's bed, and he goes, "Boy, did I feel rotten. I felt so damn lonesome." And then he goes, "It just drove me stark raving mad when I thought about her," meaning Jane Gallagher, "and Stradlater parked somewhere in that fat-assed Ed Behnke's car. Every time I thought about it, I felt like jumping out the window." Now pay attention to that jumping out the window thing, because the same idea comes up later in the story. Frequently, if a writer repeats an image or repeats an idea, it's something worth thinking about, because the writer is probably getting at some kind of a theme that you, as a careful reader and someone who needs to write essays about what they read, you should pay attention to that kind of stuff. The thing that drove Holden most crazy was he felt like he knew the kind of dater that Stradlater was. He said they double dated once, and the whole time in the car, Ed Behnke's car, of course, Holden kept hearing Stradlater's date pleading with him, "Please don't, please no." And it sounds an awful lot like Stradlater is a date rapist. He says that Stradlater kept talking to this girl in this sincere Abraham Lincoln voice. Does Abraham Lincoln really make people feel romantic? I'm not sure. Maybe it's the beard or the hat. But he does say that he didn't think that Stradlater, quote, gave the girl the time that night, but damn near close. Now, date rape is not a term that was really popular in the 1940s. That's a more recent development, because as women gained stature and gained more rights and awareness became raised, people began to realize that no means no. Men that could make a fist, it was sort of considered a conquest to be able to take a girl and convince her. Holden did not want to think about that happening to Jane Gallagher. His view of her, as we said before, was still relatively platonic. Even if Holden might have had romantic interests in Jane Gallagher, it seems pretty evident that he would never rape her. At this point in the story, Holden is sleeping next door in Ackley's side of the room. They kind of share a suite. But since they had their big fight, Holden doesn't want to sleep in the same room as Stradlater. So he wakes Ackley up and is like, "What does it take to join a monastery? Do you have to be Catholic?" Which I'm pretty sure you do if it's a Catholic monastery. If it's a Buddhist monastery, you probably want to be Buddhist. But it seems pretty clear that the whole reason Holden even engages Ackley in conversation was just to see if Stradlater would notice or react or care that Holden wasn't in his own bed, that he was sleeping out of the room because of their fight. Now in this bit, we see that Holden's mind is kind of all over the place. And in the 1940s, the term ADD had not really been coined, but it seems that the way Holden's brain is sort of jumping from topic to topic. He goes from, "I want to join a monastery. I don't want to join a monastery. I'm going to go visit my friend. I'm not going to go visit my friend. I'm just going to pack my bags and leave now, even though I'm not supposed to leave till next Wednesday." That's actually the one he lands on. But in jumping around from point to point, shows that Holden is very turbulent. His mind is all over the place, and he can't really focus on any one thing and pursue it. He's just, ideas pop up and pop out and go all over the place in his head, and he's having a really hard time bringing his thoughts under his control. Then he goes on to say how he feels bad because he has to pack up the ice skates that his mother just sent him. You know, his mother did something nice for him and took the time to send him ice skates, and here he is flunking out of school and disappointing her again. Oh my goodness, because this is about the fourth time that Holden's been kicked out of a fancy prep school. Holden was disappointed anyway because his mother sent him hockey skates, and what he actually wanted was racing skates. So this is the point of the story where he checks out, leaves Pensy, and begins his madman adventures in New York City. We'll get to the next part of the story soon. Until then, salud.